show you how cruel and hostile this cosmos is and the way that God created things. I can hear somebody saying, "Oh Chris, put it all in God's hands." Okay, a Christian mother does that, and her son still goes to hell, even though she trusted God. It's easy to trust God when He lets other things go bad for other people. When He does it for you, goes to hell for eternity. The stakes couldn't be any higher. What kind of God is that? Or, here's a story. General John MacArthur arrests this guy for cowardice on the battlefield. Now, General John MacArthur is a Christian. A born-again Christian. This guy, the guy that was arrested for cowardice has a mother and who loves him to death, and a son who adores him. And yet General MacArthur executes him. And see, if he would have lived and gone home, maybe, let's say that chances are he would have gotten saved and died and gone to heaven. But no, because instead he gets executed and he goes to hell. And General MacArthur's like, well, he was a coward, he deserved to die. Totally heartless towards him. Doesn't even care that he went to hell. And yet that man had a mother and a son who loved him. You see, it's all about cosmic selfishness. If it's not going to hurt you or those you love, you're quick to do it. You're quick to be holier than thou. But if it affects you or someone you love, your theology is going to change. It will change your theology. This cosmic selfish, might makes right, love this world. I sell my soul for mine. I want to have my little world, separate from the rest of the world, a world that I can go to anytime. I wish I had a trail that would take me to a magical land that only I could go to anytime, that nobody could molest. And I wish it was, what you call that, what's that word, superimposed over this world and its cruelty, so that no tough guy could destroy it, or hurt it, or harm it, or molest it. I can't stand the thought of me having to beg some tough guy with me crying in tears, begging him not to destroy a picture of a girl who I love, knowing full well I'm powerless to stop him if he wants to. I sell my soul to be over that, tougher than able to stop him. Yeah. And that is why it would just do me, my heart, a world of good if I could somehow see a tough guy, let's say 7 foot tall, muscle built, master of karate. It would just do my heart good to see him, especially if I did it to him myself, on the ground, dying with fear in his eyes, powerless to keep from dying, just so I can know that it can happen to them too, just so I can know that they're just as vulnerable as I am. I want to see a tough guy dying. And here's something that it makes me happy to think about. After reading Bill Weiss's book, 23 Minutes in Hell, and seeing demons so big, massively big, that even the big hulks at the gym were pale to look small compared to them. It makes me happy. And reading Howard Storm might have sent to death as those demons were ripping him to shreds. It just does my heart good to think of these big, tough, invincible guys down there, powerless and helpless and screaming in terror and fear and agony as they're being ripped to shreds by demons. Why do I want them to get saved and go to heaven when there's other sweet, good-looking, innocent, beautiful girls, helpless girls, they're going to hell simply because of the fact they're not born again? We got serial killers today. Why do they always have to kill little children and helpless, beautiful, good-looking girls and women in Mexico? Why is there no serial killer with the balls enough to kill tough guys, federal agents, muscle-bound karate masters, tough guys? Is there a serial killer with balls anywhere? I want to see some tough guys. I want to see some tough guys with the fear in their eyes. I want to know that they can die and be hurt too, just like I can. In my little world, guys who could crush my little world, I want to see them with their world crushed, with the fear in their eyes, the fear of death and the terror of the demons coming to get them, to rip them to shreds. Can't kill them because the spirit cannot die, but rip them to shreds and kill them over and over and over, an infinite number of times as eternity rolls. And I wish I could do it to one of the tough guys. I wish the circumstances would be so that I was accosted with the tough guy and I was forced to fight for my life, and somehow I overcame him and put him in his place. That would just make my heart, so that would just do wonders for my self-esteem. And also for that, I sell my soul for that too. And to get away with it down here, scot-free, to not have to be called, to not have to answer to justice. I know, if a tough guy, murder gets saved, God forgives him. Yeah. I want to see hell filled with tough guys. Those Mexican murderers who kill all those women. I want to see tough guys, that hell filled with that. I don't want to see the sweet, beautiful, good-looking, top-notch girls going there. No. If I could see a tough, invincible guy with the fear in his eyes, as he was in extreme pain and he was totally helpless to do anything about it, that would just put a smile on my face 10 miles wide, especially if I could be the one who caused it. You know, I fantasize about becoming a serial killer. I wouldn't kill the women and the children. I'd kill tough guys. That isn't, but I'm not going to do that. I'm never going to commit murder. But it is okay to daydream about it, isn't it? Make my self-esteem feel better. Hey, here's what I can do without actually doing it. Just plan up ways how I could do it. Try to, play a game. Concoct a way that you could kill tough guys and a way to get away with it. So, the perfect crime. Here's another thing I've noticed when you read the Bible. God said in one of the 5 books, I don't remember if it was Leviticus or Exodus or one of the 5 books of Moses, he said, with Israel, when you get a king, he is not to multiply to himself wives. He is not to have many wives. I think because it would be a snare to him. Yet look at this. King David, after he stole Bathsheba, Nathan the prophet told him, gave him the parable about the man who had a shitload of sheep and the one man who had one little land that he loved. And a stranger was coming to this rich man's house, so instead of taking one of his sheep, he takes the poor man's land and they eat it. Well, God said to King David, I gave you all your wives. And yet, clearly he said, the king was to not multiply his wives. It just goes to show the cosmic selfishness of it all. How might makes right. God can do it because he's got all the might. He's almighty, so he makes right. So God will bend the rules. So God bends the rules for those who, David, a man after God's own heart. God bends the rules for the special people. But if it would have been just an ordinary person, that person would have been stoned. Just like the music business, just like celebrity done. The rich man slips through his cracks out of his cell, while the poor man slips through the cracks down into his legal hell. The middleman is shafted both ways. You get the fucking picture? This goddamn cosmic selfishness might makes right. Loveless God cosmos. Fuck it all. I sell my soul for mine. Get all of mine down here now. Even though I will have a stomach ache and lose it all after I die. Fuck, at least there's a time I had it all. And I demand my free will for it all, God. I sell my soul for it. Please let me have it. Please, just to prove that I was wrong to begin with. There is one thing, perhaps, I'd rather have than the good looks and the longer arms. Although I wouldn't like having to not have the good looks and the longer arms. And that is for God the Father, God the Son, and God the Holy Ghost to love me truly, unconditionally, whether or not I was saved, whether or not, even if I was burning in hell forever, even though they were angry at me, they still love me unconditionally and totally. Not just for what he could get because of, just because, so to speak. Now, I wouldn't like having to give up being a good-looking guy and have the long arms, and not just to love me, but to love all human beings and people the same way. Here's something I find funny. For with God, nothing is impossible. And yet God can't provide a way for the angels who sinned in the beginning to be forgiven. God can't do that. Once a person dies and goes to hell, God can't save him. God couldn't provide a way that they could be saved. He was able to provide a way for that those of us who are living be saved by dying on the cross and shedding his blood. But he can't save somebody who, once they cross that line, for with God nothing shall be impossible. Bullshit. Or I just had a thought, maybe he doesn't want to. In that case, his love ain't shit. It's all about his holiness, about who he is, about his greatness. And the rest of us are just collateral damage. Fuck you. I sell my soul for what I want down here, all of it. I sell my soul. And if I have to have a stomach ache in the afterlife forever, I don't give a fuck. As long as I'm happy down here. Now, once I've had it, I don't think that's, if I've had it, if God lets me have it, then he can't take it away from me. That I've had it one time. Sure, he can make it me regret having had it, but I will have had it. So go fuck off. In closing, as I was growing up, and I did not fit in at school, I was bullied at school, I didn't fit in, still don't fit in I still don't fit into certain social functions today. I always fall by the wayside. Over the years, and even to this day, my parents have taken me to a host of psychiatrists and psychologists, all of whom have been unable to figure me out. They were so happy when I was finally diagnosed by it was having Asberger syndrome by what's the name of that place? VR, vocational rehabilitation. My grandma was like, we finally found out what it was. What it is this. I want to be the good-looking guy and have the longer arms. And to have my little world to myself. And after that, I have enough goodies to start giving to other people. So that they can have their world to themselves too. But until I got my world in order, how can I work to try to help make others have their world in order when my world's in chaos? So fuck you too, goddamn fucking ass dick sucking cunt.